Dread, terror, sheer panic, these are not the feelings you should be associating with your family fun Disney World vacation. And yet, sometimes stressful situations arise during your trip that require you to handle them head on. But how do you do that when all you want to do is crawl in a hole and avoid them? You can do this. We can help. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and I want you to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out because the things we're talking about today can be stressful. More than stressful, really. They can be panic-inducing, but that's why we're talking about them right now, so that you know how to handle these situations on the slight chance that you happen to come across them during your once-in-a-lifetime Disney World vacation. Well, the start of this video, we'll talk about some Disney situations that can be frustrating. The last half of this video does talk about some of the more serious circumstances we hope won't arise during your trip, but are so vital to know how to handle regardless. So just a word of warning for you, those last few points may be intense. First up, when your hotel forgets about you. All right, even when you do everything right when it comes to booking your Disney World hotel, sometimes technology drops the ball. So there may come a time when you get to your hotel and Disney doesn't have a room registered for you. Cue nervous sweats. This is why doing the online check-in for your My Disney Experience app is so important. Not only will you be able to confirm your stay ahead of time when you're 60 days away from vacation, but you'll also be able to see if any technical slip-ups have happened before you arrive at the hotel. If you're seeing any issues arise during online check-in, this is when you can call that 407-939-4357 so Disney can lend you a hand and get this all sorted out. If you had a resort confirmation number sent to your email, make sure to have that at the ready so you don't have to go searching for it when you're on the phone. If you don't have a confirmation number, then double check your bank account statement. That resort payment you were trying to make may not have gone through, which could be why the issues are here in the first place. Disney does mention on their website that sometimes these hotel reservations don't pop up on your My Disney Experience app immediately for online check-in for 3 different reasons. First, maybe you haven't linked your DisneyWorld.com account to your My Disney Experience account. If this is the case, just go to the reservation and purchase linking page from the Disney World website and click on the resort reservation or vacation package option. From there, enter your resort confirmation number and the last name of the person who made the reservation, and you can link it to your account. Second reason it might not show up, you booked a Good Neighbor hotel. You'll need to add any Good Neighbor hotel reservations to your account by selecting the My Plans option, grabbing that resort hotel next, and then selecting Link a Reservation. As long as you've got that confirmation number handy, you'll be able to type it in and link away. And 3, maybe you booked through a third-party travel agency. You can always contact your agency if you've got any further concerns surrounding your hotel room info, since Disney may not be able to do a whole lot on their end if you didn't book through them directly. Okay, so let's say you didn't check in online ahead of time and you're stuck in the Disney resort limbo. What then? Well, first and foremost, you'll need to go to the front desk of your resort. If the front desk isn't finding your info, they'll ask for that confirmation number that was sent to your email after you booked the room to help them track it down. Basically, summing up a solution for this whole situation is have your room confirmation number at all times. Check your email right after you make your room reservation purchase and take screenshots or print or write down, etc., that information so you can have it on hand. Just having that info handy can make all the difference when it comes to solving the mystery of the disappearing hotel reservation. All right, the next time you might panic during your Disney World trip when the fire alarm goes off. Just when you thought you were going to have a nice and relaxing time at your Disney hotel, the fire alarms decide to give you a nice jump scare. Okay, these can be really startling. On the rare occasion when the fire alarms do go off, they usually don't last long. Guests evacuate from the buildings and the cast members address the situation, and if it was a false alarm, then people can generally go back in when given the all clear. The worst part is when you have a baby who's napping and then the fire alarm goes off and there you go. Can you tell that happened to me? Yeah. Now, if an emergency situation has transpired, however, then it might take more time for an all clear to be given. But either way, it's always good to follow safety protocol, even if you assume the situation isn't an emergency, because it's better to keep your family safe above all else. On other occasions, the Disney World resorts actually schedule fire alarm tests just to make sure everything's still in tip-top shape. Normally, when these tests happen, the resort will schedule them for the afternoon when the resort is typically less crowded. And Disney will also warn you about these tests ahead of time with signs placed around the lobby and/or the ground floor of your resort. These signs will also let you know how long these tests are expected to happen throughout the day. Just don't take any pop-up sandwich hotel signs for granted when you come across them. More than likely, they're going to fill you in on some important information happening around the hotel that day that you're not going to want to be in the dark about. They also may call you and tell you about fire alarm testing on your hotel room phone. Now, if you do see a warning sign for fire alarm testing at your hotel, you might want to change your relaxation plans for the afternoon and hit up Disney Springs or have a nice meal at a different Disney World resort instead. Then, when you know the fire alarm testing is wrapped up for the day, you can head on back and take a dip in the pool or hit the hay for that nap. All right, next time you might panic in Disney World when you lose your phone or your wallet. Now, we have all been there. Everybody on the TFB team has done this. That panicked pat down when you can't find your wallet in your pants pocket, even though you could have sworn that's where you last left it. Or how about that frantic rummaging through your bag when your phone has gone quiet? So quiet, in fact, that it's not inside your bag at all. Or maybe you lost your bag entirely. That's happened to us too. But what do you do when the items you can't afford to lose get lost in Disney World? Your first order of action, return to the site where you think you might have lost the item. When a cast member finds a lost item that isn't valuable, they'll put it on top of a nearby trash can in case someone comes back looking for it. You'll often see like little kids' loveys or maybe a shoe or something on the top of a trash can. Now, if that doesn't work, visit the nearest guest relations location inside the park or at the front desk of your resort to report an item that's gone MIA. Usually, cast members at Guest Relations will have you fill out an online web form detailing your missing item, but you can beat them to the punch by going to the website, chargerback.com, and putting in the request yourself. Chargerback will ask you a few questions about your missing item. Then, once you submit your request for a search mission, cast members will be on the lookout for you, even when you're not in the park. They'll keep you updated with text messages as they continue to search for your item, and emails too, and if they are able to find it, Disney will usually mail it back to you free of charge. I actually just got a great email from a viewer who said that this happened to her, and it was because of our videos that she knew to go to chargerback.com, which is awesome. But what if your ability to get home depends on finding that lost wallet? Because, well, that's where your ID is. This is what happened to me. I accidentally left my ID at Via Napoli one time and was trying to fly home the next day, and alas. Now, it may be a bit of a hassle, but Guest Relations can also help you file a report with Orange County, which will hook you up with an official legal document that can get you back onto your plane. But how can you prevent losing these items in the first place? Well, first off, try to avoid leaving smaller items loosely in those ride storage pockets if you can. I cannot tell you how many times I have lost sunglasses or have had to backtrack for my phone just because those inconspicuous pouches slipped my mind. It's better to keep smaller items in your bags or with a non-rider. Secondly, lockers can be a major lifesaver if you don't want to stress about carrying around those specific items all day long. Usually, locker rentals cost around $10 to $14 per day, depending on the size you rent, and are located at the front gates of the parks. Third, try to avoid slipping smaller items into your pants pockets. Now, Bria, as you know, who writes our scripts, literally watched her husband stick a wad of cash in his pocket after buying something at one of the Epcot Festival booths, only to have it fall out just 5 seconds later. If your pockets have zippers, that's a different story. Zippers are like the MVPs of the clothing world, but you might find having a fanny pack strapped around your waist to be even more convenient. That way you can loosely slip these items into your pouch and you don't have to worry about slipping this type of bag off and on before each ride. Okay, next time you might panic is when the My Disney Experience app isn't working. So if you've been around the channel for a while now, then you know how often we talk about the My Disney Experience app and its ability to juggle pretty much everything for you to help make your Disney World vacation go smoothly. But what happens when the My Disney Experience app decides to die? Well, every so often, this app decides to just give up. Sometimes it's a minor inconvenience, like not showing any of the park's updated wait times, and sometimes it's a bigger inconvenience, like your Disney Genie Plus purchase being on the fritz. We've run into issues where our lightning lanes have suddenly disappeared from our roster, and we've also come across issues where we weren't able to purchase Genie Plus at all. So before you panic, see if these tech issues are something you can work out on your end. Sometimes the Wi-Fi from your hotel room may not have such a great signal and you'd be better off using your own data instead. Other times it might just be a matter of restarting your app. Turn it off, wait 10 seconds, turn it back on. If the My Disney Experience app is acting up, Disney's gonna work quickly to get that back up and running again, but when it is back online, you'll more than likely have to re-log into the app with your account info, because we all remember our passwords, don't we? Yeah. So make sure you know which email and password you use just in case you need to input those again. Whether you are unable to purchase Genie Plus because of the tech issues or you lost your Lightning Lane selections because of them, always head to the park's guest services or your Disney Resort's front lobby. The cast members at these locations are more than familiar with Genie Plus issues, so keep in mind that they're already on your side and ready to help when you arrive. It helps to have receipts for these cast members to refer back to if you remember to screenshot any of your Genie Plus purchases or Lightning Lane selections before they disappear into the great unknown. These kind of receipts can help cast members get things sorted out for you even faster. But even if you don't have screenshots of these issues, guest services should still be able to come up with a solution for you, where everyone can just take a huge sigh of relief and feel better about the rest of the day moving forward. But it is a hassle because you got to spend time on it, and time is money in Disney World. Okay, so what happens when you're about to go to Disney World and you look at the weather and you see that one of those swirling storms is out there in the Atlantic heading right for Florida? Well, hurricane season is a very real thing that can make your Disney World trip come to a sudden standstill. Per the release of this video, we're now in the middle of hurricane season, which tends to range between June 1st and November 30th each year. A crucial thing to remember when it comes to dealing with a major hurricane while you're in the Orlando area is that Orlando is in central Florida, which typically doesn't get impacted as much by hurricanes when compared to other areas in the state, like the coastlines where massive damage can happen. But that being said, Orlando does not have a protective weather bubble around it or anything keeping all hurricane storms at bay, despite the rumors. So high winds, humongous downpours, flooded streets, and all-around dangerous conditions could still keep you cooped up in your hotel room for an extra day or two. In 2022, we saw Disney World close not once, but twice due to these types of powerful storms. And regardless of when you might be planning on heading to Disney World, knowing there's an inclement weather possibility can help soften the blow if it does end up impacting your trip. While knowing is half the battle, the other half is being prepared. If your trip happens to take place during hurricane season, there are a few extra steps you may want to take to brace yourself for the potential of an oncoming storm. That starts with planning for rain, no matter what time you're visiting. Pack ponchos, umbrellas, rain jackets, and waterproof shoes. Because even if a storm does hit the area, that doesn't mean the parks are going to flat out close each day. Truth be told, Disney World experiences flash rainstorms a lot, like almost every day in the summer. So you might find that even if it's absolutely pouring in the afternoon, things will clear up even an hour or so later. You may also want to consider booking a Disney World hotel that's better suited for hurricane-like weather. Now, all Disney hotels are built to withstand hurricanes, and that's no problem, but we're talking about hotels with fully enclosed access to restaurants, shops, and lobby areas, like you're going to find at the main tower at Contemporary Resort, Grand Destino Tower at Disney's Coronado Springs, or Animal Kingdom Lodge Villas, which not only have direct access to the main resort area, but also have kitchens inside each room where you can prepare meals yourself if you hit up a nearby grocery store before the storm hits. Above all else, you're going to want to mentally prepare yourself and manage your trip's expectations going forward. Disney World's earned a reputation through several major hurricanes as a safe, secure place to be during one of these intense storms. So safe, in fact, that many Floridian locals go ahead and book up rooms here to bunker down, which is why it's not a bad idea to tack on an extra day or two to your own stay if you think you might get caught up in the thick of it, because those rooms will sell out fast. That being said, the parks and resorts will look a little different in the event of an emergency. Even after the storm passes, attractions may be shut down and restaurants may be closed for a day or so while the cleanup's taking place. Don't want to deal with all the hurricane hassle? Keep an eye on the AccuWeather app as you get closer and closer to your trip's departure date. That way you'll know about a hurricane warning ahead of time instead of it sneaking up on you. If you do see that a hurricane warning might wind up impacting your vacation and you decide to cancel your trip altogether, this is what the Disney World website has to say about weather-related refunds. And this is a direct quote from the Disney World website. Ready? Okay. If a hurricane warning is issued by the National Hurricane Center for the Orlando area or for your place of residence within 7 days of your scheduled arrival date, you may call in advance to reschedule or cancel your Walt Disney Travel Company Disney Resort hotel package and most room-only reservations booked directly with Disney without any cancellation or change fees imposed by Disney. Looking for more storm info to get prepared and stay prepared? Then make sure to check out our DFB video all about how to survive hurricane season and severe weather in Disney World right after this. Okay, next time you might panic in Disney World when you want to cancel a dining reservation, but it's too late and you're going to get charged a cancellation fee. Well, it happened. You made an advanced dining reservation, you got all hyped up about it, maybe even ordered that tasty food in your head mentally over and over again, but life kind of got in the way big time and you're not going to be able to make it. Why? Maybe because someone in your group is feeling under the weather, maybe you're stuck in traffic, whatever the reason may be, it just ain't happening, Captain. Last November, Disney World changed their dining cancellation policy for most of their table service restaurants. Instead of having to cancel a reservation 24 hours in advance to prevent being charged that $10 per person no-show fee, now you just have to make sure you cancel on the My Disney Experience app before the 2-hour window leading up to your reservation to still avoid the cancellation fee. Way more convenient. Now, side note, this same cancellation policy does not apply to places like Hoop-De-Doo Musical Review at Disney's Fort Wilderness, Victoria and Albert's at Grand Floridian, Takumi Tay in Epcot, and Monsieur Paul in Epcot. But even with this new cancellation convenience, sometimes you still have to cancel your reservation past that 2-hour window. If this happens, your best bet is to have the person who made the reservation go up to the host stand of the restaurant and explain the situation. Note, this does not guarantee you'll get out of the no-show fee scot-free. However, depending on the circumstances, there's a better chance at getting those fees waived when you talk to someone about it in person rather than not saying anything at all and guaranteeing that $10 per person loss. If you have more dining modification and cancellation requests, you can always call 407-WDW-DINE, that's WDW-DINE, for further assistance. And also, if you can't get to the host stand of the restaurant, go ahead and give them a call as well. Now, if you had to cancel a reservation and you're in need of something quick and munchy instead, Disney World's got tons and tons and tons of snacks for you to turn to, which you can learn all about via our DFB snack guides for each of the parks, available now on dfbstore.com. Just make sure to type in code YouTube to save some moolah on your overall purchase. Okay, next up, now note that all of this stuff has happened to me. You get food poisoning. Oh, I hope that doesn't happen from the snacks you just ate. If you are struck with a bout of food poisoning, consider hanging back at your hotel for a day or two to give your body some time to process things, if you know what I mean. I know that's not exactly the advice you want to hear, especially when you've already paid for your park tickets and set aside all this vacation time to, not be sick. But even if you aren't contagious, heading to the parks is not fun when you're miserable. Unfortunately, theme park tickets are non-refundable. However, if you do have some extra break days planned into your trip already, you're more than welcome to modify your park days and make park pass reservations for those extra days instead when you're hopefully feeling much better. All you'll need to do is open your My Disney Experience app, tap on Tickets and Passes, select Change Ticket, and follow the prompts from there. But if you don't have the luxury of extra days, you're still not totally out of luck, sort of. Even when your tickets expire, the value of your unused tickets will remain in your account. So if you're planning on traveling to Disney again in the future, if this experience hasn't permanently left a bad taste in your mouth, then you can call Disney's Ticket Services team at 407-939-5277 to redeem those unused ticket values for your Disney World vacation round 2. If you start to feel sick while you're in the middle of one of your park days, then head straight to first aid. Go there immediately. There are nurses on call who are equipped to help monitor you, as well as provide you with free over-the-counter medicine for any non-emergency related tummy troubles. If you're sick at your hotel, you can grab over-the-counter medication from your hotel's gift shop at a cost. But if you make it back to your Disney World resort late at night after the gift shop's already closed and you need some medicine now, then contact the front desk and a cast member may be able to sell you what you need. Disney's also partnered with Advent Health to offer several different medical services that include non-urgent healthcare visits and prescription delivery. Okay, but let's talk about the real elephant in the room here. If you just so happen to get food poisoning on Disney property, is Disney not going to refund you for that? Well, that's tricky to answer. My best advice for you is to express your concerns at the front desk of your resort or at guest relations at the front of the park. Because while these types of situations are dealt with on a case-by-case basis, it could be important to inform somebody about what's happening so that Disney can be in the know instead of in the dark about what you've experienced. Does that mean they'll refund you? Probably not, but still good to let them know. All right, now it's time to talk about some heavier topics that you probably don't want to think about in terms of your Disney World vacation, but need to be addressed regardless. Sometimes emergency situations do happen in the parks and resorts that are as far from magical as possible, and they can be downright scary. So let's discuss how you and your family can prepare yourself for these scenarios so panic doesn't get the best of you. First up, allergic reactions. Let's start on a high note with this point. Disney World has gotten way better at accommodating all sorts of different food allergies and sensitivities across all their restaurants. In fact, Disney has shared that Walt Disney Parks and Resorts has received a FARE, that's Food Allergy Research and Education Award, for dedication to providing a safe and enjoyable dining experience for vacationing families. Hopefully that gives you some peace of mind as we continue forward with this topic. Before we talk about what steps you can take to prevent any major allergic reactions from happening across any of the Disney World restaurants, let's go ahead and talk about the scary stuff. What do you do if an allergic reaction does happen to you or someone in your group? Remember those first aid centers I was just talking about? Along with over-the-counter medications, these stations are also equipped with EpiPens. The nurses here are able to administer injections, even for diabetes-related instances. They've also got special containers on hand for the disposal of hypodermic needles, so if you need an EpiPen and you don't have one on hand, don't panic, just get to first aid. That being said, you are absolutely 110% A-OK to bring your own EpiPens with you into the parks. In fact, please do that, have that be the first thing you pack in your park bag. Also, be sure to bring other antihistamines and asthma medications that you may need, because even if you think you'll be okay without them, it's always better to be safe. Just a heads up, EpiPen needles will more than likely set the security systems off when you walk through them. So when you head over to get your bag checked by a cast member security guard, just let them know that you do have these medical necessities in your bag so they know what to expect during their search. But now let's try to prevent any allergic reactions from taking place. If you're dining with food sensitivities in Disney World, you're going to want to do the following 3 things before eating at any sit-down locations. First, make a note about your special diet before you submit your advanced dining reservation. The Disney World website will provide you with a space to make any special diet notes that the restaurant should be aware of beforehand, and they do look at them. 2, email the Special Diets Department at special.diets@disneyworld.com or call them at 407-824-5967 prior to your trip, and you can discuss what needs to be done before you arrive. 3, request to talk to the chef or the manager or allergy specialist on call when you arrive at the restaurant, just to make sure someone's there to walk you through the menu and walk you through the meal preparation process. For counter service restaurants, you can and should request to speak with a cast member who can guide you accordingly. You may receive a physical menu noting your options, but rest assured you can always request to speak to a chef as well. Additionally, the mobile order function on your My Disney Experience app has an allergy-friendly icon you can tap before you start ordering your food that will automatically direct you to the part of the menu with allergy-friendly options. If you have a question at a snack or quick service location regarding food ingredients, you can also ask to look at that restaurant's nutritional book, which lists every single ingredient used in each selection. A cast member can help walk you through it if you're looking for extra assistance. In summary, you don't have to go to Disney World and be scared that you won't be able to eat anything or that Disney won't be able to do anything for you if you find yourself needing extra allergy-related assistance. All right, next big deal thing that could happen to you, physical altercations. Social media can make it feel like fights break out in Disney World all the time, but they really don't. When the parks were starting to reopen back in 2020, tensions were high and altercations were a bit more frequent. We also saw some pretty wild moments between guests during the 50th anniversary celebration kickoff when people were getting way too passionate about grabbing their limited edition merchandise. If you see an altercation happening between 2 guests, or maybe if you see a guest getting more aggressive toward a cast member, keep yourself and your family safe and reach out to a nearby cast member and let them know what's going on. They'll be able to contact security ASAP to help intervene and protect anyone from getting hurt. There's also a good possibility that security is already on the case. If you see someone dressed in everyday theme park attire jump into the situation head on, it could be someone who's part of Disney's security team dressed in casual wear. Disney has plainclothes security guards stationed throughout the parks to keep an eye on things, so you might end up walking past several security guards during your visit and never know it. All right, next very serious panic-inducing moment, you lost your kid. One of the most panic-inducing times as a parent is losing sight of your kid while in the middle of a crowded theme park or an airport, as what's happened to me, even if just for a moment or two. But the panic increases higher and higher when a minute or 2 passes and you still don't see your kid, even if they were right next to you. I don't like talking about it. It makes my throat burn. So let's break this situation down into 2 easy to digest parts. What happens when a kid goes missing and what can you do to prevent it from happening in the first place? Well, when you lose sight of your kiddo, the first thing you need to do is freeze right where you are. Instinct might tell you to rush ahead looking to see where they've wandered off to before they get too far away, but there's a good chance they've just briefly lost sight of you too and are trying to get back to the family. If you've got another adult in your party, you can always send them on ahead to start searching while you stay put, or vice versa. Next thing you need to do is reach out to the nearest cast member. When cast members are told that a child's gone missing, they'll notify their supervisor and security ASAP. They'll also ask you for a recent picture and to list off some defining characteristics, i.e. height, age, what they're wearing, hair color, etc. As soon as you give them enough details to go off of, the cast member will report the missing kid's description to the Central Communications Center, so all cast members can be on the lookout. When a cast member finds a child, they're trained to keep kiddos calm, cool, and collected. So while they'll ask them important questions like what their parents look like or when was the last time they saw them, they'll also help diffuse the tension with less serious questions like who's your favorite Disney princess and what ride's been your favorite in the park so far. If the parents aren't already nearby, kiddos will be escorted to the park's baby care center or guest relations building, where a cast member will continue to stay with them until they're reunited with their family. While I hope that none of you ever have to go through the panic of not knowing where your kiddo has run off to in Disney World, no matter how brief a time it may be, the best thing you can do is plan ahead to prevent an accident like this from taking place. So here are 5 easy things you can do before heading into the parks to help decrease the chances of your kiddo getting lost. 1. Wear bright clothes. It's easier to spot your kid or any of the members in your party if they're wearing something neon or eye-catching. 2. Quiz your kids to make sure they know your cell phone number. That way, if your kid gets lost and finds a cast member, they can give the cast member your number and get in contact with you immediately. 3. Give your kid a tattoo phone number on their wrist if they're too young to memorize it. You can usually find them for around $5 on Amazon. 4. Create a game plan. Give your kid an easy-to-find spot in the park that they can go to and wait if they can't find you. For example, if we ever get separated, meet me at the Cinderella Castle wishing well. And 5, show your kid how to identify a cast member. Namely, point out that oval shape of the name tags they wear. That way, your kid will know they're approaching someone trustworthy and not just a complete stranger. All right, next, medical emergencies. Call 911. That's it. That's the post. If a major medical emergency happens to someone in your group, like a potential heart attack or stroke, then it doesn't matter where you are on Disney World property. Do not go to first aid. Do not try to flag down a cast member. Call 911 immediately. I promise you that's what Disney wants you to do. For other medical emergencies that may not be as life-threatening but can still be serious, Disney and Advent Health have partnered up to open a brand new emergency room near Disney World and in the Flamingo Crossing area. The emergency room is staffed by a clinical team that includes board-certified emergency physicians and nurses, plus the design of this space will be unique since it has Key West-influenced architecture and Disney-inspired touches. So, maybe that'll make things better for you. In this emergency room, there are 24 private patient rooms, space for respiratory therapy, diagnostic imaging, including CAT scans, X-ray, and ultrasound, and a full-service lab. One last quick and important note before we wrap up here today. Notice how many of our solutions for these panic-worthy moments of your trip have to do with the cast members. Cast members are seriously the heroes. They are the reason the parks stay afloat and don't crash and burn when these situations arise. So please, if and when you reach out to them when you have an issue that needs to be resolved, remember that you have the exact same goal in mind. They want you to have a great trip the same way you want to have a great trip. So whether the issue you're facing is big or small, substantial or minuscule, talk to the cast members and don't forget you're on the same team. Be kind, try to be calm. They've been trained on how to handle this stuff. So thanks so much for joining us here today. Keep checking back in for more Disney World updates and reviews to come. I hope this has been helpful. I know that we've experienced a lot of these situations and scenarios, and we've gotten through them, and we know you can too. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.